Music is my world. Not only do I like playing and listening to it, I also like producing it. I cannot imagine my life without music.
Music is my life. As I grew up with all the challenges that I had, I used to turn to music as a way of escaping from what I was going through.
Every day, especially since lockdown started, I wake up around 7 a.m. and start my day. Whenever I get an opportunity, I walk my 2 dogs. I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. The Infant Ridge is a very nice space for me because I can take my dogs out for a walk whenever I kind of feel like it, and then have the creative space just to walk around and kind of think of creative ideas and things that I can implement into songs and stuff. My mother is everything in my life. She supports me with everything I do, including my music and education. With lockdown, we've kind of spent each other's lives together. We know what's happening in each other's days, so the family nighttime conversation kind of gets a bit hard. But I mean, I feel like with lockdown, I've had a great jump in my relationship with my mom because it's kind of forced us almost to talk about things that happen in our day-to-day life. Unfortunately, last year I lost my father. It was a devastating time in my life as I spent a lot of time with him. Life has never been the same again, as I was truly deeply hurt. I definitely had a real big rethink of life. I feel like my motivation and everything was kind of just thrown out. I kind of had to start putting my life back together, build up my relationships again. Kind of basically threw everything out of balance, Kind of felt like I was floating in life while everything carried on.
It had definitely had an impact on what he was doing, his efficiency in schoolwork. But we were quick, we pulled in teachers, the school were absolutely amazing. They were there with support, psychologists, monitored his homework and his contribution very closely, and stepped in where they needed to, and we managed to bring him back on track.
Since the start of lockdown, I do my schoolwork online. We follow the same timetable, we just delayed by an hour. We get sent videos or we go live online classes with our teachers daily. We're basically given a due date for a task. In some cases, I actually enjoy doing it because I feel like I'm able to work at my own pace. It's a great benefit because sometimes I can work ahead of the class, where I might be faster. I also have tutors after school so I can work ahead of the class and cover new material. There's one moment in my daily routine where I always look forward to. The moment where I can just get lost in my passion. It's normally the highlight of my day.
I was born and raised here in Soweto. Like any other township, this place is full of things that can be quite tempting and harmful to young people, like drugs and alcohol. So you have to make your own decision between what's good and what's not. I was raised by my grandmother. At home, she was a very strict person. She made sure I did all my schoolwork, all my chores. She did her best to give me the basics, despite being a pensioner. My biggest challenge was growing up without a male figure in my life to show me what's what. A lot of the times I had to figure things out by myself, especially things that relate to a boy child. At school meetings, children would come with their mothers and fathers. I used to always come with my grandmother, and I mean, friends wouldn't question why you're coming with your grandmother, but you could really sense that they kind of, asking themselves, okay, what is going on with him? Yeah. When I was 17 years old, around the time I was doing my matric, I asked my grandmother what's really happening with my parents. She told me the truth and said my parents left me at an orphanage here in Soweto when I was a baby. I also discovered that she wasn't my biological grandmother. She found me at the orphanage when I was still a little boy. It does hurt in a way not to grow up with my biological parents. It makes me sad. It was also frustrating to me, but there was nothing I could do about it. I'm just thankful that I found my grandmother. I wouldn't be where I am had it not been for her. My grandmother is the one who brought me here to Basket Music School.
We rehearsed in quite a big hall, and I faced the entrance. And we were rehearsing one afternoon, and this would have been in about 2003, I suppose. And a little boy came and stood framed in the doorway. And when I stopped, I said to the ensemble, "Who does he belong to?" And everybody said, "No, we don't know him. We've never seen him before." And then an elderly lady sort of hove into view behind him, and she said, "He belongs to me." And it turned out that she'd come from deep Soweto with him because she'd seen me and Buscade on some television show, and she wanted him to come to Buscade.
I found a second family here at Buscade. It was very nice to see people learning the violin. I found it inspiring.
Welcome to my world. When I'm done with our studies, I spend a bit of time with my mom and I lock myself into this room. This is where all the magic happens. This is where I practice as much DJing as possible. Music puts you into a place, into a feeling that you can't really escape from. Like, no matter what song you're listening to, you're always going to have that feeling to kind of go with the track. Whether it's a nice happy vibe or more like a chilled out mellow vibe, you're always going to get that feeling listening to your songs. And I feel like music's very powerful in order to like put you into that place.
Hey Dils, you ready to go? Go.
I'm not really the sporty type. I didn't really do sports growing up. I mean, I wouldn't see myself, I can't imagine myself in a rugby field right now during the derby days, tackling other children. I'd rather see myself DJing or just practicing my music somewhere, you know, just doing my music as something that I love instead of actually, you know, working or doing sports or something like that.
And as time went by, he started downloading DJ apps on my phone, where he started playing around with music. And that is why when he was 8 or 9 years old, I actually bought him a DJ course.
Dropping beats like only DJ Dylan can.
One thing led to another. I started playing for small crowds of friends, but then I started receiving bookings to play for big venues. For me, playing in front of crowds and festivals, I used to be extremely shy. Playing for 1,200 people, it made me grow in self-confidence, and the things I believe in what I can do. I feel like DJing for a crowd is the best feeling ever. I mean, seeing a crowd positively react to what you're creating for them, having that feedback just from people gives a nice, like, warm feeling to your heart.
It was boring for me to listen to classical music, but it was fun to play it, and it wasn't a popular genre where I grew up, so I really listened to it. But as time went by, I really understood classical music and I started to listen to it more often. I fell in love with it hugely. When I had problems, I would practice. I would find a room at Basgate, take out my violin and just play whatever. As time went by, I played very emotional stuff, emotional pieces and songs. If I was having a bad time and I was on the verge of crying or breaking down, I would just practice for hours and hours and go on without even realizing. Then after that, I'd still be sad, but I'd be better. And it helped me musically because while I was practicing, my violin skills grew. My first tour was in London, in England, and Cheltenham. That's where I played my first solo, Baghdad. Then we went on to travel to Colombia, Brazil, France. We've also went to France, and Reunion Islands. Yeah, that's just amongst like some of the places. Wonderful. Well, it really makes me feel good to play the violin and makes me feel special and as I'm different. It's a very rare talent that I have in my neighborhood and where I grew from. So it's very special to me and I treasure playing the violin. I saw my passion and I knew I could make a future out of this. You know, everyone was into football, everyone was into like rapping and like all of the common stuff we do, and this was different and it was more likely for me to make it, you know, it's something that's different in where I grew from.
He is a natural improviser. He is a natural jazz player. That does not come from me at all. I have not had that in my life. It's just there. So, you know, there are all these sort of contributing talents that have made up this rather extraordinary young man.
A characteristic of a good DJ is definitely passion for music. Whether you're playing for 100 people or 3 people, you should still be there enjoying yourself. DJing shouldn't really be about the money, it should be about you enjoying your music and everything. Normally when you're DJing, halfway through the set you forget that you're playing for someone and you're just so involved in the music that you're playing and the music that you're enjoying your time playing that music that you kind of just forget that you're kind of playing for anyone else. You're just there playing music for yourself and it just so happens that you play for a crowd. Hey bro, what's up?
What's up, my brother? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
Sweet, so what do you remember from last lesson? Music kind of helps me through the dark days after I lost my father. It helped me through the phases and got me out of a stage where I was really depressed about my dad. When I leave school, I like to choose a career in IT. It's one of the subjects in school I really enjoy. I've heard that it's one of the better jobs to have, so I think that going to university and studying in it would help me. But I will always have DJing as a side hobby. I'll never give up DJing. DJing is my life.
To be a good violinist, I don't really know, but from what I've seen and what I've gained, it takes mostly like consistency in everything, consistency in your passion, in your drive, in whatever. So it doesn't matter what's happening outside the box, but you need to be consistent about your feelings and your perception and your goals and all of that. It just comes up to one word: consistency. Yeah, I really want to go on with music. I really want to go abroad and go on playing the violin and becoming good in it, because I've already invested in so much time in it, so it will be only fair to myself and to everyone that's also invested time to me to make the most out of it. So I really want to do it and go on pursuing what I wanted to do 10 years ago. So. You can have all these false and negative comments being brought upon to you, but if you know what you want and doing something you're passionate about, I feel like that's what you should stick to. And people come and go, so if you're going to listen to people that are criticizing you at that time, in 10 years time they might not be there, so if you listen to them, then you're the one who lost in the end.